Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Proceeding Onward in America, POA. Tonight is episode 7, where we are talking about what to expect while RVing. And like most of you guys know, or if it's your first time here, we are pregnant with our first child, about 6 months along, and we've been full-time RVers since 2018. So, right now, we're trying to learn what it's like to have children in an RV. And that's why we've been doing these special episodes where we bring families in and they do a little talk to discuss how they handle full-time RVing life with children. In the past, we've had Nursing Our Travel Bug here. We've had Why Wait. And we also had RV Kids TV. And tonight we have a special guest, 314 Square Feet, that will be joining us. And fun thing about it is she has a 5-month-old and she has 3 other kids on top of it. And I believe her second youngest was also mostly full-time RVing with him as well, or they transitioned during that time. So I'm sure she has some great tips for anybody that's wondering what it's like to live in an RV with children, especially infants. I'm very excited to learn more about it. Definitely, since we have about 3 months to go, and boy, do I need to prepare. So, I'm getting excited about this. But before we get going too far, I want to say hello to a couple people that are in our chat. And let's start up from there. We have Thrifty Angela that is here. Hello. Thank you for joining us. We also have Nursing Our Travel Bug in the house, NOTB. They were our guest a couple weeks ago. If you don't know who they are, and want to learn more about them, check out their channel or check out a couple episodes ago and see how they full-time RV with children. They have 2 older ones. Bella is 14 and Will, oh boy, I'm going to butcher it, it's 11. Hopefully I got that right. So they have more of the teenage years going on for them. They've been full-timing for about 4 years. So they started when they were a little bit younger, but now they're heading into the teenage years. So if you want to know more about homeschooling and everything for the older or getting older children, check them out. We also have Foreman, aka Kenneth Oakes, in the house. Hello, thank you for joining us. And hey, Michael, how are you, buddy? This is my cousin's little son right there. So glad to see you here, Mike. I miss you. And then we have Riley Creative Travel. Thank you for joining us. And that's it so far in the chats. As we are going along, if you have any questions at all for me or for the guest, feel free to type it in the chat. Make sure you direct it to who you would like it to be for. That way we don't get confused, because there are sometimes you have questions for me and sometimes you have questions for the guests, and we just want to clarify on who you're trying to ask that question to. So feel free to put that in the chat. And for our Facebook Live people, if you have any questions, feel free to put it in the chat over here. I will be checking that periodically. Haven't really done Facebook Lives in a long time, so sorry if I forget. Or if you feel like you want to be more part of it, feel free to jump on the YouTube side and we can go from there. Just know also in the chat, it does take about 30 seconds or so for it to show up for me to be able to read it. So please don't be disappointed if the chat starts going really fast later on as more people start joining. I know it's a Saturday night. It's beautiful outside. It stopped raining here. So if I had kids, I'd be outside right now making them run around instead of winding down. So I'm sure some people will join us later on. We're here for about another 55 minutes or so, give or take. But anything that you have, anything you would like to talk about, feel free to put it in the chat. So I did all my welcomes. I have my little list. Pregnancy brain, sometimes I forget some things, and I don't want to forget anything. A previous episode. So previous episode, if you check out our YouTube channel, talks about our live stream baby shower that we're going to be having on July 5th at 7 p.m. Eastern. So a lot of people have been asking. So we set the date. We have Natasha from NOTB. We also have Box Fan D and all that willing to help out. We're going to have some great games. We're going to have some great guests. and so forth. People that have been sending me gifts, I'll be opening the gifts then. So if you are a YouTuber and you want to send me gifts, great. I will give you a channel shout out. If you don't have to, nothing is required. Our little one's going to know that you love them no matter what. I'm not trying to like sit here and be like, y'all need to buy me gifts. So just know that we do have that coming up. If you want to buy something, great. If you don't have money for it, that's fine too. But there is something free you could help us to, is run our playlists. So we're about 150 hours away from being monetized. So monetized means in the YouTube world that you have 4,000 watch hours in a span of a year, and you also have over 1,000 subscribers. Right now, we're about 150 hours away from being monetized. So any playlist or anything that you want to watch, I don't want you to have to sit there and watch 10 hours of something that you don't care about, where you can just put it on and just have it playing in the background. That's cool too. But feel free to check out our playlists. We have RV how-tos. We have our travels. We've been traveling since 2018. So we've been into Canada. We've been up and down the East Coast. We've been to the East Coast to the West Coast. And we're now doing our travels over on the West Coast. And now we're heading back to the East Coast. So we have so much to cover. We boondock, we work camp. We have everything that you can think of. So feel free to check those out. Leave a comment and so forth. And we also had John Chalker coming in. Hey, how are you? I'm feeling great today. I won't lie. The other day I was not feeling the greatest. I was having a pretty bad day. But it was just the emotions going through. I do have a funny story that I do want to go into real quick. So yesterday I was at work. Most of you guys know I'm on Navy orders. So I had to wear my Navy uniform into work. So it's that camo green now that we have instead of the blue. And you had to wear the boots and the sleeves and jackets and all that stuff. Well, my feet are starting to get swollen. So me trying to put my feet in the boots was an issue. So Fabian helped me that morning, put my feet in the boots. And then on my way to work, my feet started getting numb. My toes, I couldn't start feeling my toes. And I was like, oh boy, I've only been in the car for about 25 minutes, give or take. So I was like, this is not going to work. So I get into work. I take my boots off and I readjust. I have compression socks on underneath. So I readjust the opening where the compression socks are. So my toes fit a little bit better. So it's not pinching my toes. And I decided to put the boots back on. And it's a struggle to just bend over to begin with, never alone trying to put in these boots that I feel like it's sausage meat getting stuffed into packaging before it gets sold. So I'm putting it in. I had put in baby powder in the boots because they're starting to smell. So when I put my left foot in, baby powder just poofs all over the place because I put in too much baby powder. And it's all over the carpet, all over everything in the room. And I'm just like huffing and puffing. I was like, I'm a hot mess. And I was like, oh boy, what am I going to do? Because this doesn't look like baby powder. It looks like other things. And I was like, this is not good. So after a moment, I tried like putting the baby powder into the carpet a little bit more so it wouldn't be seen as much. I don't know. I only have one boot on. I can't just go down the hallway. So I get enough energy and I try to put my right foot in. So I'm putting my right foot in, squeezing it in, more baby powders puffing everywhere. And I have a higher up come into the room at the time of this happening. And he's a commander and he's just looking at me. He's never met me in my life. And here's this lady just hunched over, hair's all frazzled, sweating bullets, baby powder puffing all over the place. And I'm just like, hi, sir. The poor guy didn't even know what to think. He's like, what is happening? Luckily, after I told him like about the pregnancy and all that, he understood and he was just like, okay. He's like, I got you. But way to have an intro to somebody. Meeting them for the first time and all you have is baby powder puffing everywhere. You're sweating and you're just like leaned over, out of breath, can't even breathe. It was amazing. So that's my little fun story for you all. Now I have it on video. And stay tuned, because who knows what else is going to happen in the next 3 weeks or 3 months. Oh, 3 months. My goodness gracious. So that brings back to the previous episode of our what came out on Thursday. And then, yep, baby shower. Oh, link to the registry is in the description of this video. So if you are interested, check that out. And then, yeah, I think that's about it for now. So like I said, we have a special guest tonight and everything. Let me look at the chat real quick just to make sure I'm not missing anything before we bring her up. So Thrifty Angela is playing War, a card. Yep, I know that card game very well. But you're listening. That's cool. I hope you win. And then Riley, put your left foot in, the baby powder out. Put your right foot in, there goes the baby powder. That's what it's all about. It's like hokey pokey. That's exactly what you're doing. So, yep, exactly. So as we're talking and so forth, like I said, if you have any questions, put it in the chat and so forth. This person that I'm about to bring up is from 314 Square Feet. You can find them on Instagram. I have that link down in the description of this video, or not on Facebook, but in the YouTube world. And you can check them out on Instagram. And she's going to tell you a little bit more about herself and about her family and so forth. So let me just get this rocking and we'll get going.
Those pictures. Thank you. Oh,
you're so welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're so welcome. I really wish people could see everybody's expressions while the trailer's being played, because nobody ever sees it beforehand. So I get to see your expressions every time, and it just makes me feel so good. So after this live stream, I will send you a copy of that, so that way you can always have it to treasure and so forth.
Oh, thank you. That's very sweet of you. Thank you.
You're welcome very much. You're welcome. So just so you are aware, there will be, I don't know if you can see the chat at all, but if not, I'll let you know the questions and everything. I know you do Instagram more, and you do like the reels and all that other cool stuff that I don't really do. But if you see anything or you want to talk about anything, feel free to say whatever you would like to say. I will have some questions for you. The chat will probably have some questions for you, and then we can just go from there. Okay.
Okay, sounds good.
Perfect. And right before we start, I just want to say hello to Brad and Diana. It's about time now. Hello. Thank you for joining us. So first we're going to do the easy questions. Who are you?
I'm Baby. So my name is actually Bärbe. I'm from Germany, and I've been in the United States 20 years this July. And I usually go by Bibi or just by B. I've had this nickname since probably 5th grade.
Very nice. So you've been here for about 20 years. Now, did you do any of the schooling here, or was it all over in Germany?
I grew up in the western part of Germany, and then when Germany reunited, my dad, he works for the government. We moved to Berlin. I lived there 2 years, went to the German school there, and then we moved to New York, and I finished actually a German high school in New York.
That is really cool. That is super cool. Yeah, that I'm amazed by that, and I love your accent, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
You are so welcome. I when I watch your reels and you do all these fun little things and everything, I just listen to your voice and I'm like, oh, this is so sweet.
I love it.
Yes, and and I want to say happy anniversary because I believe it was your 20th year this week.
14. Thank you.
14. Okay.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I hope you guys had a great time. Do you want to talk a little bit about your significant other and your little ones?
So James and I, he goes by JC or James. We met online when I was in my senior year in high school. And then all through my college years, we dated, had a long distance relationship. And what happened was through one of my travels with my parents, we went to North Carolina, the Outer Banks. And I loved North Carolina so much. And then I had an online blog. He had an online blog. And in his profile, he had North Carolina with German heritage on it. And I was like, oh, he's in North Carolina, German heritage, and he's far enough away. I'll never have to meet him. But then we met, and the rest is history.
The rest is history.
So yeah, fast forward a few years, we have 4 kids now. The oldest one is 8.5. It's a girl, Elizabeth, and then we have 3 boys, 5, 3, and a 5-month-old. And we've been full-timing since 2018 also. So July will be 3 years.
Oh, that's coming up really quick.
Yeah, yeah.
So for the 5, 3, and 5-month-old, what are their names?
Johannes, after my grandfather, and also James's first ancestors that came to the United States. They all had the name Johannes. And then we have Julian, and we have the last one is Joran.
Perfect. I love the name.
So we always said when we have kids, if we're in the United States, we'll give them European names, and if we were to be at home, we would give them American names, so they have something of their home country wherever they are. That's
so cool. I love
that. Thank you.
Yeah, we just went simple. We're just naming him after my husband, Fabian.
That's a cool name. I like it.
It is. It's definitely unique, but I don't know how to give him a nickname though.
You'll find one within the first few months. You'll have one.
Oh, I'm sure. Actually, we do have a question in the chat. I'm going to pop it up. It's from Riley's Creative Travels. His first question: what type of RV or rig do you have?
So we started out in a Class A 37-foot bounder with a tandem axle. And we lived in it until actually just last month. And now we have a mid-bunk fifth wheel with a loft for Elizabeth. And the cool thing about our fifth wheel is we have a back deck without it being a toy hauler.
Yeah. If you haven't seen her Instagram, she did a video, and legit, Fabian and I are so envious because we've talked about toy haulers or fifth wheels and like the differences. In the toy hauler, we've seen some people do some really cool modifications, right? Like One Strange Invention. I don't know if you have ever heard of them. They changed where the back end is, where for the toys usually are. They made that their personal their spot and put the kids in the front.
That's genius. That's a good idea.
Yeah, so they have the patio. It's great. And when I saw yours and you had the back patio and it leads right into your living room and all that, I was like, what?
Yeah, the way our family dynamic is, we needed that bigger living room area because we're always together anyway. So
absolutely, and they're all going to get bigger, so you need
yeah.
And then Riley's Creative Travels, they have a 45-foot travel fifth wheel. Sorry, they've been over full-timing for over 8 years, and they want. I know when we have a child, we'll be looking for something with bunks. So yeah. Definitely check out. It was a Durango Gold, was it?
KZ Durango Gold, 382 MBQ.
Perfect, 382 MBQ. And like I said, check her out on Instagram. She has a reel that shows it and everything. So if you were interested in it, check it out. It's really cool. I'm very envious, but I'm not going to trade it because I love the one that we have now.
Yeah, you have a good one too.
Yes, indeed. I can't wait. Just double check and make sure that we have anybody else. We did have a couple more people join us. We have Dreaming Out Loud, RVing, that is here as well, and New Horizons is here, and they're in Pigeon Pigeon Forge camping right now.
Nice.
So that's really cool. We have friends from all over. It's really
That's
great.
awesome.
And Riley's Creative Travel says they have a toy hauler with a deck as well. So they made ours the home office and studio. So that's something that everybody else can look at as well. They did some mods. So check out their channel if you want to know some mods for anything. Definitely if you want to change up. I know you just got yours, but RVers always are changing things. So there's that. If anybody else has any questions, make sure you put it in the chat. I did write down that you had KZ Dream Go Gold. I did take notes. I did.
Pregnancy brain.
Yes.
It's a real thing.
Oh my God, it's so real. And so are the emotions. Poor Fabian.
Oh gosh, yeah.
So you started traveling in 2018, you mentioned. What made you make that change from living in a house to an RV?
So we didn't plan on being full timers. We had a fixer up a house. We sold that house, and we were thinking, because we already had the RV when my parents went back home, the bounder was theirs, so we had it for them, and we're like, we'll just live in it until we find a new home. But about a month into staying in the RV, we just loved it so much that we made the decision, we're just gonna get rid of the rest of the stuff and stay in it. So that's how we became full-timers.
That's awesome. Now, do you usually stay, you mentioned that you like North Carolina and all that stuff. Do you usually stay in that area, or do you guys travel around a lot, or maybe?
Yeah, at the moment we're stationary. I did travel with my family all across the United States. I've been to all 48 lower states except 2. And right now we're stationary with James's work, but he's eligible for early retirement very soon, and then we plan to travel full time. That's
fantastic. And hit those last 2 states of the 48?
Yeah, I don't know how we missed them. One is Alabama and the other one is Michigan. I don't know how we missed those 2.
Well, at least you can like go down to Alabama, then head up, and then Have you been to Alaska yet?
No, Alaska, no. Why we haven't been to, no.
Okay, we haven't yet either. We really want to one day. We were thinking about doing it last year or this year coming up, but last year we know what happened, so we couldn't. And then this year is still kind of shut down, but I believe they're about to open up again in another couple weeks or so. But I'm on Navy orders, so we can't really just be like, see ya. And 6 months pregnant with a new RV, I'm not willing to try.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Yeah. It gets scary. When you get pregnant, things get scary.
Yeah, I realized that because I'm an Aries, and I'm an only child, very independent. I'm all about going out and doing things. And like, I play sports. I've jumped out of planes before. I've done bungee jumping. Like, I've done all this fun stuff. I work on ships. I drive ships. I mean, all these cool things. And now I'm like, I'm afraid to ride my bike by myself.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a real thing. Definitely.
Yeah. And Fabian's like, why don't you ride your bike more often? I'm like, I don't want to do it without you. I'm afraid something happens. He's like, but you're never afraid. I'm like, I don't know.
I can totally relate. I totally understand that. Last year when I found out we were pregnant, I'm going to be honest, I cried because of everything that happened with the year, and it was just with everything that went down, and I cried. But it is what it is.
It is, yeah. And I can't imagine people. I mean, we got pregnant towards the end of the year, so we kind of been through the pandemic a little bit, but those that were popping out babies during that year when it first came out and getting pregnant, I can't even imagine. But the good thing is we were surviving, we're making it through, and here we are.
Yep, makes us stronger.
Exactly. And you have a little 5-month-old now, and he's doing great. He's adorable.
He can't even sit, but he's up on all his 4 and trying to crawl. And
that's amazing. Aw, I can't wait. I just can't wait.
You're gonna love it. It's so much fun.
Yeah, it's our first, so it's going to be really fun. Now,
Yeah.
speaking of first, usually you buy a lot of stuff.
True. Been
What
there.
are yeah. So what are some of the things that you've learned now since you have a 5-month-old living in an RV and I believe you oh shoot, I forget his name right now. I'm going to cheat. I wrote it down. Joran? No, that's a new one. Jillian. He was a baby when you started RVing as well, too, correct?
Yeah, he was 10 months old.
So, what do you suggest for moms for having their child that you really should have in an RV? Not all the fancy things that you always think you need.
Honestly, a washing machine.
You got that. Check.
No, really, babies, they don't really need that much. With Julian being the third, we already knew that we didn't need that much. So clothes are definitely, of course, and diapers and that kind of basic stuff is a must, of course. But for Joran, we got a crib, a little, it's a travel-sized Graco pack and play. So it's smaller than the regular pack and play. It fits perfectly through the door if I want him to sleep in the boys' room while everybody else is playing. I can just push him in there. And something that I use a lot is a good baby carrier. I have one of those structured ones, like the Ergo babies. Right now he's up in the front, so whenever he's fussy and I need to do something like dinner still has to go on the table, the other kids are hungry or something else, I can just carry him. So those are my two. Well, the bed you don't have to if you choose to be a co-sleeping family, but the baby carrier for me was definitely a must that I had, and I'm glad I have it. I use that a lot.
Okay, so we got the pack and play, we got the washer and dryer. Now all we need is that wrap. Okay.
Yes, go get that wrap. And then we had, from when we had the house with Julian being 10 months old, we still had our high chair, which is a simple one from IKEA. We had one of those minimal ones. And we chose to keep it. So we're using it. Would you have to have it? Probably not, because you can hold your baby and feed him. But it is nice to have, and we do have the room for it, so we'll have it and use it.
Yeah, and I'm sure with the other children around, sometimes you can't just hold the baby, feed the baby, and still have to attend the others.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's needed.
Yeah.
Understand. That's cool. Now, since you also mentioned food, and I believe you're a vegan, correct?
Mostly. I'm not 100% vegan. Like, I don't stress out when we go to family or friends' houses. I'm just so grateful that they cook for us, so I'll eat. But at home, I try to be mostly plant-based vegan. And here's why. Because for me personally, I feel my best when I eat a mostly high raw, plant-based vegan diet with melons in the morning. I do my smoothies. Bananas and melons are cheap. Hang on, I have motorcycles coming in. There's like 3 loud ones. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's fine. I usually have jets flying above because I'm near an Air Force base. So you're good.
So yeah, I do live a mostly plant-based vegan lifestyle for my health. That's the reason why. With the kids, I have the energy to keep up with the kids with that diet.
Okay, perfect. That's good to know. Because like we're trying to figure out, definitely we're going to try breastfeeding and stuff like that. And the RVs only have so much room, but eventually we're going to need to figure out foods. And it's just like, well, I don't want to do the chicken nugget thing.
Yeah, no, don't start it. Don't start it.
I mean, I don't want to start doing that. So hearing like, doing the smoothies and the melons and all that stuff, and how your kids, I saw that you did like a fruit tray one time. And
I love it.
They loved it. How does fruit and everything, like if you have a bunch for a family, because us we're used to getting like 4 bananas and that lasts us for a while. With a family, how does your fruit handle well, and what do you use to like contain it, I guess?
To store it?
Yeah.
So when we had the bounder, we had a shelf that was right behind the couch area. That was where all our bananas were for a while. And then sometimes up front where the driver's seat is, we had the bananas. And then the huge watermelons and cantaloupes, I used to stuff them under the table. Now with the fifth wheel, we have a IKEA storage, and I think they took it off the market. It has the white drawers that you can pull out, and then I have my bananas in there and my cantaloupes in there, and then on the bottom, on the side, I put the watermelon. My kids know the same with all my plants. They know not to touch and mess with it, but it's also available to them if they say, Mama, I'm hungry. Can I get an apple? Can I get a banana? They know where it is. They can go get it and they can eat it.
Okay. Well, that's great. Because we're looking in here, we're like, we don't know where to store any of this really healthy stuff. We have like a cheap little banana holder that like you buy at Walmart for like $10. It's not cheap considering it's probably like 49 cents to make, and it falls apart all the time. And we try to fruit basket, then they just get all moldy in there, and it's just like humidity and this and that. And I'm like, how's this gonna work?
Now, when the bananas are close to being overripe, I do freeze them, and then we use them in, we call it ice creams. So if my kids ever say we had ice cream for breakfast, it's actually just frozen bananas, and I put raw cocoa in it, or sometimes I put frozen strawberries in it if they want the pink one, and then they will eat that. And then it's healthy. They think it's ice cream, so it's a win-win for everybody.
That's awesome. What kind of container do you use to make like those ice creams?
I store them in just plain Ziploc bags, but I reuse them. When I take the out, I put it right back into the freezer, the empty bag, until I'm ready to refreeze new ones. And then we just have a simple Ninja blender.
Okay.
The one with the IQ, it has the different attachments, and that has worked very well for us.
That's really cool. We don't have a Ninja blender. We have like one of, we have a little hand blender.
Oh, you could have that too.
Yeah, we got that when we had the 19-foot travel trailer, so you couldn't really have a lot of big things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now we have a bigger house, but we're just like, do we really need to? Because we don't make it a lot. But if we're going to be making food for the baby and stuff like that, we may upgrade to a Ninja or so forth.
Yeah.
So actually, we have a question for you real quick. And it says, speaking of food, ever had met or spaghetti s being from Germany?
Oh yes, spaghetti ice. Yeah. So do you know what spaghetti ice is?
No.
It is ice cream that looks like spaghetti. So you have the vanilla ice cream that looks like the spaghettis, and then you have this delicious strawberry bolognese sauce on top of it. It's delicious. It looks like spaghettis, but it's actually ice cream. Yes, I've had that and met. Yes, my grandmother used to cook with it all the time. Yes.
I need to figure this stuff out. That looks really cool, because if I can make spaghetti look like ice cream, or, you know, like, be like, hey, Fabian, here you go. He's going to be like excited. So I'm going to have to look into that. Oh, and even, how come everybody knows about it but me? So I guess that's what I'll be doing after this live stream. Figuring
it looks like spaghetti eyes.
That's funny. All right, so let's get off the food before we get really hungry. Homeschooling and so forth. Or since you're stationary, are you just going to public schools, or how's that all happening?
No, we don't. I do homeschool, and I made that decision before we had kids. I wanted to homeschool. Others do it, like behind us, there are kids that do go to public school, but we do homeschool. I use Time for Learning, which is mostly online. I know some people don't like to have the kids in front of screens a lot, but it works for us. And I know it works with our state for the core subjects. So I do that for the core subjects. And then I also do a lot of Charlotte Mason. Charlotte Mason is a Christian-based homeschool, and her learning is through living books. So what that means is you're reading stories. You're learning something while you're reading a story, and it engages the kids in a different way. rather than just the textbooks. And for hers, normally in a home, you would buy a lot of beautiful books and have them displayed and be able to read them. For us, I make it work with the Kindle and audiobooks, so we don't have all those books. And sometimes if the library, since we're stationary, if the library has a book, I do get that book from the library, so we get to look through it. So yeah, that works for us. We do a lot of field trips, and what I've started recently also is if the kids, they're in this, why is this, why is that, why do snails do this kind of phase, a lot of why questions. Bless you. I look it up. I look it up online, so I'm teaching the kids how to look up something and to continue being curious. My husband, when he was little, he read through an entire encyclopedia, and I would love for my kids to have that kind of same drive to want to know things and look it up.
That's really cool.
Right.
Sorry about that. I had a moment.
Oh, you're fine.
But so encyclopedias, I remember those. Those
Yeah, right?
are heavy, big books. So we won't travel with those, but we'll stay with the Kindles.
Yes, yeah.
Or go to the library. I'm sure the library has some.
Mm-hmm.
And so forth. We actually have a NOTB that's in here. Sorry, my throat's still going kind of crazy. That when they travel, they actually get when they get to a certain spot, they show them that they're out of state and they can get a library card for that time that they're there.
That's awesome. I have to look at that when we travel. That's awesome. Thanks for letting me know.
You're welcome. I figured that would be good knowledge for you to know, because eventually you want to start traveling. So you probably have to be there for like a couple months here or there. You can't just be in there for like a week and then be like, peace out.
Yeah, have your books.
But yeah, so that can still happen while you're traveling, and you don't have to have all those books. So that's good.
Yep. Awesome.
And then, so we covered the homeschooling and so forth. Activities. What do you all do with activities? You know that you said that you're starting to do tours and like doing all that stuff, but what other activities do you do with the children?
So we are very, very blessed to have a really awesome park. We are part of the Thousand Trail system, and we have a lake that we can go swim in. That was really great last year with the whole pandemic thing. So we were still able to go swim. We have a ton of hiking trails around here. And then what we also do is we look up local state parks, or in my Facebook, I'm part of a Wild and Free group. And they do a lot of activities. They find like all the free spots to go to, and then we'll go see other homeschooling kids and we'll get to do stuff with them. I haven't been since the pandemic started, but I'll probably start that up pretty soon again. So yeah, that's what we do. And like when we went down to Florida with Elizabeth, we took Elizabeth and the baby. So we stopped at certain things, or the beach state park that we stopped at. So we do things like this. That's
so cool. Now, how did you learn about that?
The
fun, you said Fun Share.
Wild and Free?
Wild.
God, I think it was one of my friends, actually. Funny enough, we met at the library story time, and she told me about it. So that's how I joined.
Now, does it cost anything?
No, it's free. But now I think if you do like the whole Wild and Free membership, where they send you curriculums, and it's like a whole big thing, and you can go to conventions. I think you do pay a membership fee, but right now for me, the season of life I'm in, I don't have the time to do all of that. So we just meet up with a local group.
That's really cool. Now, so it's not just local, so you can probably find it anywhere and join it.
Yes, you will be. Mm-hmm.
See, yeah. I never heard of that before, so I'm definitely going to.
And I think it refers to, it's a certain type of parenting style, letting the kids be wild and free, letting them explore nature. So it's very outdoor based, letting them explore. And whenever we do our group meetings, it's child led. If we want to go for a walk and the children stop somewhere and they want to play for 2 hours, we'll be there for 2 hours and playing. The kids are in the mud, they're dirty. We all have separate spare clothes in the car. So yeah, I love it. It's a great group.
That's amazing. I'm going to have to look into that definitely as we have the child and they start getting older, because
Yes, do
they're
that.
available everywhere. That's a great thing. Um, I just want to remind everybody in the chat, we have about probably, oh gosh, another 10, 15 minutes or so. So if you have any more questions, feel free to type it in. We have some more time to go. And I do appreciate you, John Chalker, for what you said. And I'm sure I'll be fine. It's just one of those things that you just get a little more nervous when you have a baby. So thank you. Thank you for the encouragement and so forth. And apparently now I know why Riley and Foreman know about it, because they went to Georgia and they both had it together.
Well, I have to go there. That's not far from us then.
There you
Georgia's
go.
5 hours.
Yeah, take a little trip.
We'll do that.
Yeah. If Riley, if you know the name of the place that you had it at, feel free to put that in the chat. That way she doesn't have to be like, okay, let's just go to this random place in Georgia and try to find it. That would not be so easy.
That would be adventurous.
Yes, it would be. It would be. So I also know that you do, I believe, essential oils, right? Am I correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
thanks to the pandemic.
So do you want to talk a little bit more about that and how that helps? Because I know some of it's calming and some of it's for in your food and so forth.
Yeah, actually, I have my oil line up right here. So the way it started, I actually grew up with a handful of oils. Like my grandfather, he would always have peppermint and inhale it when he gets sick. And then lavender was something we always had around. Tea tree oil was something that I always had around when we were growing up. And then last year when the pandemic hit and all the cleaning products were gone, cleaned out from the shelves, I was like, what am I going to clean with? So I started researching a little bit. And before that, I knew essential oils. I had a diffuser and I knew that they smelled good. And then last year, I learned that you could also clean with it. So I started ordering some oils, cleaning with them. And once you don't know how much you love them until you use them. And that's exactly what happened. So I really love how safe it is. What I just told my husband earlier, what I noticed, he was saying he was cleaning something and he said it ate up his fingers. And he was cleaning one of the water hoses outside. And I told him, I said, ever since I started using the oils for cleaning and the Thieves dish soap and all of that, my fingers, they're fine. I can clean all day. I cleaned this camper and our old camper top to bottom, and my fingers were fine. I felt great. I wasn't sneezing like crazy. My nose wasn't stuffed up. So I'm really, really happy that I found them for that. And yes, I do use, I have lavender actually in my hot chocolate right here because I was so nervous. It helps calm down. You can use, so the brand I'm with is Young Living. It's a very high quality. Don't just use any oil that you find in the grocery store. Make sure it's a high quality. If it's a high quality one, you can use it in the foods. And I do that very frequently. It helps me drink more water. I put it in my, the lemon oil in my water, and it helps me to drink more water because I need to, because I'm still a nursing mom. Mm-hmm. And you probably can tell too with being pregnant, if you drink more, you'll feel better than on the days that you don't drink.
Absolutely. And my sausage feet and everything else that happens when you don't drink enough.
Yes. Yep. And I always had the problems with severe morning sickness. And so when I don't drink enough, it makes it worse. So it helps.
That's really cool. Yeah, because I have essential oils, but they're the cheap Walmart brand. And we're like trying to make concoctions to get like spiders and all that away and try to figure out what would make the mosquitoes go away and all this stuff. And it kind of works. I don't know.
Yeah, I admit I had the Walmart brand too before. But there is, having been with the cheaper brands, I can tell there's definitely a difference. in this. What I also do for us is in the wintertime when the yuckies come from the weather change, cold weather, I'd get the thieves and put it in orange juice and we drink it and it's gone.
That's cool.
So you can definitely tell a difference.
Absolutely.
12 in the house, only 6 thumbs. Everyone, please.
Yes, absolutely. So for YouTube, they like seeing thumbs on videos. So if you are here and you're enjoying your time, feel free to hit that little thumbs up. If you are not, hit that thumb down button twice.
I have a YouTube channel, but I don't know anything about it.
Oh, so did you put any videos on in the past for it? Or
I have, but for me personally with the kids, I just spent so much time editing that I wasn't finding the joy in it. Yeah. So now I just use it to watch videos.
I understand. We've had our moments too of that, and that's one sometimes why we're a little behind, because you need that little break.
Right.
So that's why we're about a year behind on our video. But it's okay. It gives us
a cash reserve though for when right after birth, when you need that time to be with your son, you have those videos.
Oh, we got plenty of that. We have so many videos. We have so many videos. Like I'll be honest, we've been stationed here since October of last year. And we've been able to put out a video every single week, sometimes 2 a week since then. And we're still behind on videos. And
wow. What do you use to edit?
So we use Final Cut Pro.
Oh, okay.
So we tried other ones, but Fabian's a big Apple user, and he was able to find a student discount. So we got it for cheaper, and it's a one-time thing. So we're just like, okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
So it works out. Oh, we have Honey and me in the house, and she's actually from Canada.
Yay!
So thank you for joining me. I think she and her family are renovating an RV right now as well. Yeah, so if you're interested in seeing some renovations, I'm sure she can talk about it. Or you can check out her channel. And she also does a lot of home baking and all that. Actually, one of our videos I was making what's coming out tomorrow is about fire starters, how to make fire starters, and so forth. So I'm actually making fire starters, and we had to put music over it because actually you can hear Susan in the background talking about, I think, her apple pie that she was making at the time. So I'm like listening to apple pie and I'm making fire starters. I was like, yeah, that sounds great.
Do you cook over the fire?
We have.
Yeah.
We don't do it so much here right now. The weather's just starting to get better, but Fabian now works nighttime. So since he works from like 3 at night to 11 at night, me cooking outside, I just want something simple. So I just usually use like a crock pot or something. But last summer we cooked a lot. Like we have a Dutch oven, we have cast iron pans. We had so much funny. Oh, sorry, I was reading reading this thing at the same time. She said, "That's funny," and I put funny in my We had so much fun doing it.
I have I use the Ninja, the foodie, so I don't have to store a crock pot and an Instapot and everything else. And in my old camper, I didn't know that the oven was working. So for the last 3 years, I've perfected cooking in the foodie. And then 2 weeks before we moved out, I figured out how to turn that oven on.
That's funny. We have, this oven is actually a lot bigger than the one that we had. Our other one, we had to like get on our hands and knees and like with a lighter trying to like make sure the knob is at the right spot, and you're just like trying to light it. Yeah. This one is a way better. I'm sure yours is too, I believe. Is it a 3 burner?
I haven't used it, but I'm sure it is.
But you don't have to use that lighter, right? You don't have to get on your hands and
No,
knees.
yeah, I have a button up top now.
Yes.
But I'll be honest, I've heard so many horror stories about cooking in the RV, and I'm just like, I'm just gonna keep using the Ninja. I have it. I use it.
I know what to do.
Exactly.
Yeah, but this one we use a lot. We're trying to get used to the convention oven because our microwave is kind of a microwave with a convention oven.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we're still trying to figure that one out, but we keep burning a lot of this stuff, and I don't know what's happening there. So we use our Pampered Chef air fryer, which has like a dehydrator, has air fryer, it has a baking function, has a rotisserie function, dehydrates fruit and all this. And I was just like, that's it. So we use that a lot.
Yeah, that's awesome. Wow.
Yeah.
I think the propane opens.
Oh, which
Yeah.
one the propanes? Yes. Yeah. And we also have this RV came with an outdoor kitchen too. So Fabian cooks outside a lot so it doesn't get hot inside because now it's like 80, 90 degrees where we're at. I'm sure you're about the same temp, give or take.
Yeah. And we're humid too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm not sure if you got all that rain that just went through or not.
We did. Where are you at?
So we're in Virginia currently.
Oh, wow. Okay. Why was I thinking you're in Washington, D.C., Washington State?
Because that's from last year's, all those videos that we're still.
Okay. Yes, we did have that rain.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm over here on the East Coast doing some Navy orders. So we'll be here for a while.
Okay.
By the time we leave here, we'll probably be caught up on everything that's actually happening in our life. So we have about another 8 minutes, give or take. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to place it in the chat. I did lose my Facebook feed. My phone kept cutting off, and so I don't know what they were saying there. Sorry on the Facebook side. But Honey and Me does say the convention oven does take less time to cook, so that's good to know. Mm-hmm. We just have that weird thing where it will burn on one side. So if we don't rotate it, one side gets cooked way more than the other. So that's something to think about too.
Yeah.
So, now, I know that we mentioned about a whole bunch of stuff. Do you want to say again how they can find you on all this, on what type of social medias you use or anything like that?
Yeah, so I use mainly Instagram. It's 314 square feet, which is based off our old camper. And I think I'm going to keep the name for the future just to remember that. The old camper, the one we started in. I do have a Facebook. It's Barbara Beringer. I don't know how easy it is to find or not. I don't use Facebook that much, though. But yeah, my YouTube is 314 square foot, but I don't ever hardly. I think last time I updated it was in January. So,
well, we can always check it out, and I'm sure some of our friends will be like, "All right, let's see what she kind of did."
yeah. But yeah, if you're around here, ever just come on by. I have had people saying, "Oh, we saw you on Instagram," that I didn't know were on my Instagram. So yeah, definitely come on up here and talk. I always love meeting new people, and it is so much fun. And with the kids, there's nothing to it but to do it. You're doing it. Other people are doing it. So yeah, you learn your way. Just like with a new camper.
Absolutely. And that's one thing that the baby that we feel like, even though your oldest and all that lived in a house and so forth, our baby will never know what it's like to live in a house to begin with. So that transition isn't going to be too bad.
Yeah, exactly.
So, we do have a question for you real quick. Favorite part of Germany?
Oh, hands down the Alps, I would say. That was my first time 2 years ago when I visited. That was my first time visiting the Alps, and I fell in love with it. That would be landscape-wise, but people-wise, I would have to say wherever my family is. It is very hard for me. I don't know if you go through that with being Navy and moving a lot. I miss my family a lot. So
absolutely, and that's one reason like why we bought the travel trailer or at first is we like to travel a lot, but now we didn't know where we wanted to live. So now we can travel and see our family. Now, since
Yeah.
we have a fifth wheel, it's a little bit different. We can't just park it in people's backyards anymore because they're bigger.
Yeah.
But we can still move. And actually, during one of our travels, Fabian's grandma had a stroke, and we were able to just pick up one night and just drive down there, and he got to see her before she passed away. So, and we couldn't do that if we had a real house and stuff. So,
yeah. Financial freedom was for us a big thing. Being debt free, that was huge for us. So that's why part of why we're staying with it. We love this lifestyle. The community is great, both in real life and online. It's just it's an awesome community. You help each other. You're there for each other. I remember last year in the fall, I was pregnant, and we had that storm come through. One of the hurricanes came through, and I was out here taking down one of the gazebo, and I had people coming and helping. I mean, it's an awesome community. When we got this new camper, people were here. We don't have a truck for it, so people came in and helped us using their truck to park it. It's that kind of a community. We all need this community. It's awesome.
absolutely, and I totally agree. We've had a lot of these people that are in the chat. Some we haven't met yet. I haven't met Susan. She's in Canada right now. We haven't met her yet. But a lot of these other people we have met either through YouTube lives or doing other things. We had a meetup in Mayberry last year, and about 25 or so people or channels showed up, and we all met and mingled. This year they're having it again in October, and there's about 40 some odd channels coming in.
Wow.
Yeah, and we just all meet up, talk, and then we become friends afterwards. And then there are some people that had issues, and since they've met, they were just like, hey, we're in the area, we're going to help you out. It's because somebody's truck went down, and they're like, well, you can't stay here. So they hooked it up to their truck and just drove them to their next spot. I mean, the community is amazing. I love everybody here.
Yeah, I wish the whole world was like that. I'm one of those people that wishes that everybody would get along, you know.
Yes, indeed, I agree. And hi Fabian, love you. And Honey Me says one day we'll meet. Oh, hope so. If you can leave Canada and bring yourself down the East Coast, just let us know. We're here. And that's interesting to know about the new convention ovens. Be careful because they use hot air and blow it around, so the time should be shorter than what it should be, which is good to know. So that's good to know. Oh, and Riley said I want to get to Bavaria, and I'm not going to say that right. Garmisch.
Definitely go there. It's gonna be so much fun, and it's so beautiful.
Yeah, I hope I get to go there one day. We'll see. So, anybody else in the chat have any last questions? We're about to wrap it up. We have about a minute or two left and everything. So start typing. I want to say thank you again for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. And it wasn't as scary as you thought, I hope.
No, it was not.
Yeah, I try to make it as
wonderful.
Simple. Good. I try to make it as easy as possible. Just simple little questions that most people want to know about. And of course, they can find you on Instagram. So if they have any more questions, they can probably contact you on there. They
Absolutely. Send me a message. I'll be so happy to answer. Yeah.
Perfect. And I think everyone's just saying great show and everything else. So great live stream. So yeah, they love you. Yay.
Thank you.
So
good luck with the rest of your pregnancy.
Thank you so much. And we'll keep in touch. I'm sure I'll reach out to you a couple more times.
Okay.
So, all righty. Well, thank you. And we'll see you around.
Thank you, Becky. Bye, everyone.